The first time I held that postcard, something inside me tightened, like a quiet alarm going off in a part of my mind I didn't know existed. It wasn't fear, not exactly. It was that strange ache you feel when you recognize something you've never seen before. The front showed a sky unlike any sky on Earth, thick ribbons of turquoise mist swirling around mountains big enough to swallow storm clouds. And gliding between those mountains, as casually as cars on a weekday commute, were dragons. Dozens of them, saddle-strapped, rider-guided, as if this was just how the world worked over there. I remember brushing my thumb across the printed scales of one enormous crimson beast, and a shiver ran straight up my spine. It felt wrong, too real. Light reflected off its wings in a way a picture shouldn't capture, and the rider on its back. Something about him tugged at a memory I didn't actually have. That's when the whisper came, not in my ears, but somewhere deeper. "You've been here before." Of course I hadn't. At least, I don't think I had. But when I flipped the postcard over, my pulse slammed so hard I felt it in my throat, because the message wasn't written in ink. It was burned into the paper. And it said only one line: "The sky remembers you. Come back before it's too late." I didn't know what too late meant. I didn't know who sent it. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Somewhere out there, in some impossible universe, dragons weren't legends. They were transportation, and someone was waiting for me. If you're still here with me, tell me in the comments. What would you do if a message like that showed up at your door? The truth is, curiosity doesn't whisper. It pulls. It grabs you by the collar and hauls you forward even when logic begs you to turn around. That postcard had already hooked itself into me, and resisting it felt like trying to fight gravity. I spent the next hours replaying the tiny details, the carved saddles, the riding harnesses, the faint shadows of traffic lanes painted across the sky. Whoever created this scene didn't imagine it. They documented it. By nightfall, I found myself outside again, holding the postcard under the streetlight as if the glow might reveal something new. And when a cold wind rushed past, sharp, sudden, and carrying the scent of smoke and metal, I swear the air shimmered. My neighborhood faded at the edges like smudged ink. The postcard heated in my hand, and then the world cracked. A seam ripped open in front of me, wide as a canyon and bright as a sunrise. I didn't fall into it. It pulled me in. The first breath I took on the other side tasted like lightning. I was standing on a floating platform woven from roots and stone, overlooking a city built into cliffs that spiraled toward the clouds. And in those clouds, dragons. Hundreds. Their wings beat slow and heavy, sending warm gusts across my face. People in long coats and aerodynamic helmets guided them through the air like commuters on their daily route. One rider landed nearby, the ground trembling under his dragon's weight. He removed his helmet, revealing the same face from the postcard. Familiar, yet unknown. He stared at me with recognition that hit deeper than anything I'd felt on Earth. "You finally came back," he said. "We don't have much time." Somewhere inside me, something cracked open, like a memory waking up. But before I could ask who he was, the dragon lowered its massive head, eyes glowing like molten gold. It wasn't threatening, it was welcoming. Here's the strange part. Standing in front of a creature that could have eliminated me with one snap of its jaws, I felt safer than I'd ever felt back home. And if you've ever felt that moment when fear and awe blend together into something electric, then you know exactly what was happening inside me. He offered me a hand. "Ride with me. I'll explain everything." You'd think I would hesitate, that I'd consider the danger, the mystery, the impossible circumstances. But something in me trusted him, trusted this world, before I understood why. Maybe the sky really did remember me. I climbed onto the saddle, feeling the heat radiating from the dragon's scales. The rider secured the straps around my waist, guiding my hands to the grips shaped for human fingers. My fingers, as if I had held them many times before. When the dragon launched upward, the force almost knocked the breath from my lungs. But then, the world opened. Wind roared past us, the city shrinking beneath our ascent. We soared through layers of clouds, each one streaked with color, greens, blues, violets, like the sky was alive. For a moment, I forgot every fear I had brought from Earth. Everything in me felt light, connected, right. Maybe it was the bond between rider and beast. Maybe it was something inside me, rising to meet the place it belonged. Or maybe it was simply the feeling that for the first time in a long time, nothing was missing. Mid-flight, the rider glanced back at me and shouted over the wind, "You feel it, don't you? That pull! That's because this world never let go of you, even after you forgot it." "Forgot what?" I yelled. "That you were one of us!" The dragon dipped suddenly, wings folding slightly, and my heart jumped, part fear, part thrill. He laughed, steadying the beast. "Relax. She likes to test new riders." New riders. The phrase landed heavily, too heavily. Are you telling me I used to live here? He nodded. Not live. Protect. And we need you again. The skies aren't safe anymore. Something is coming. Something that only you would recognize. But before I could ask what he meant, a distant roar shook the clouds. Not a dragon's roar. This one was deeper, older, the kind of sound that vibrates your bones. The rider's eyes darkened. They found us. The dragon banked hard. Below, shadows crawled across the mountaintops, massive shapes moving with purpose. The air thickened. Something ancient and furious was rising from the depths of the world. "We'll fight?" I asked, voice trembling. "We'll survive," he said. "And you'll remember everything before this ends."